World War I first-person shooter has just been released, and it's called Isonzo, and it covers what is pretty rarely covered, which is the Italian front. So pretty interesting straight off the bat. I've been playing a decent amount since release, so I wanted to just give you my first impressions and what I think of the game. So first of all, just a quick overview. I think they've done a great job with this. I think it looks great. There's lots of really fun gameplay mechanics in it, and it's the third in a series of World War I games that these developers have made. There was Verdun, Tannenberg, and by all accounts, I hadn't played those two, but by all accounts, this one is significantly better. And from what I hear, they've largely listened to the feedback from the customers, from the consumers, and they've made changes accordingly, which in this day and age is a big deal. If you've got developers that are doing that, it's extremely promising for a game and new games from this group, and also how this game is going to progress down the line. So let's start with the foundations. What's this game got going for it? And like I said, it looks really good. I think visually it's extremely vibrant, which is kind of a nice change from a lot of the more dull World War II, World War I kind of games, which I understand if you want that gritty feeling, but this one's got much more of a vibrant, warm feeling to it, which is a bit bizarre considering it's a World War I game, but nonetheless it's pretty refreshing to see, and it's quite a nice thing to look at. I think the map design is excellent. It's full of life, full of content. It's pretty much the opposite of how Battlefield 2042 maps released, which were extremely barren. This has got loads of stuff placed into the maps. It's really easy to get immersed in the environment that they created. And also from what I've read, it seems like they've kept things pretty authentic, or as authentic as they can when it comes to how the maps look, and also what the soldiers look like and the kind of uniforms that are used and the weapons as well. So I think it won't disappoint those core kind of World War I fans, who is a fairly niche market when it comes to the video gaming industry. For those guys who kind of want things to look how it would have looked roughly during the World War I era, won't be disappointed. They're not taking a huge amount of creative freedom to make things look all wacky and stuff like that. So I think they've done a good job in keeping things authentic as best they can. Now moving on to gameplay, and I'll say on the whole, once again, it's been very good. It's satisfying to use the weapons. They feel clean. The game runs smoothly on pretty high graphics. It's only about 48 players on I think it's 48 players on the server is the maximum, so I found no real performance issues. It runs pretty smoothly, and yeah, I think they've made the bolt action rifles fun to use. It was a lot of fun gunning people down. There's different classes in the game which have different roles. You have some which kind of provide some team buffs. You've got the officer, which is the most tactical role. They can call in artillery and mustard gas and things like that, which really are kind of essential in helping you to push on to those points that have got a pretty small choke point, so you need something to break the deadlock. So officer is absolutely crucial class, and that's where we come to, I guess, the tactical element of the game. Now it's pretty early doors with the game, and so naturally as the game released, everyone just kind of runs in and guns it, including myself. You don't really have too many sophisticated officers that are playing at the moment. Everyone's kind of beginners, so as a result your tactics aren't particularly sophisticated. It's kind of just keep knocking at the door until you break through. But on the occasion I have had it where the officer has said what they're going to do in the chat, like they're going to gas the middle point, and then we broke through the middle point, and then he told us to all head right. So there's some really nice UI things they can add to the maps where it's clear to see where the officer wants you to attack and where they want you to move. I think the map UI on that point has been done really well, and the way you interact with it is extremely good as well. And I think that's how they're trying to get around the fact that there's no real voice comms in the game. They're trying to make it more visual, so as you can visually see what the tactics are, but that's not really being fully implemented yet in the games that I've seen. You see a bit of it, and it seems to work well. If the officer tells you to attack a certain point that's strategically advantageous, and you take it, and then it all works well, you can build from there. That's really nice. That's really good use of tactics, and I basically just want to see more of that, and I hope more of that develops as the game goes on. So moving on to gunplay, and like I said before, it's extremely fun gunning people down in this game. However, I would say that it is possibly a bit too easy to gun people down, especially when it comes to long ranges. Now, I'm the last person that would ever want to call for anything like random bullet spread or bloom. I hate that when it's in games. I like your bullets to go exactly where you're aiming. But it's a World War I game, and what I really want in a game like this is to kind of just getting in amongst it, over the top, gas mask on, getting down and dirty, a bit of hand-to-hand fighting, and that extremely rarely happens in the game that I've seen so far, unless you're rounding the corner in a trench and you just happen to come up against someone, in which case anyway you just fire your weapon, which, you know, I can understand that close range, you do that, you're not going to get away from that. However, if you're trying to run from point A to point B and there's someone on the other side of the map, it's pretty, I'd say at the moment it's too easy for them just to nail you, because there seems to be almost no, I don't know if there actually is any bullet travel time or bullet drop or anything like that. I found it very easy to nail people at long range. I know I'm not saying that bullet spread or random bullet bloom is the answer to that. Maybe something like reducing the damage at those long distances, or actually probably having a slightly longer bullet travel time might do the job, in which case close range shouldn't be affected as much. It just makes those longer range shots a bit harder. Because at the moment, what I'd say the game is like, and now this might be personal preference, maybe it's just me that wants to be getting into that, getting a few bayonet kills under my belt, but I'd say the game is actually kind of like, if you ever played Call of Duty 2 back in the day, and there was a custom server which was kind of a bolt action rifles only server, it's got that kind of a feel to it where your bullets are laser beams and you just able to take people out. Now, that being said, I had a lot of fun on those servers. I played them myself back in the day, and it's good fun, and the shooting in the game is satisfying, but I think it kind of limits itself in the type of gameplay you experience, because you're just getting gunned down from the other side of the map as you're trying to get into a point. I find that quite often, and maybe that's just me not moving around the map as well as I should, but I kind of want a bit more to the gameplay than just the who can fire first, the quick aiming of the rifles and the bolt action rifles and stuff like that. You do get things like machine gun stands, you get little certain areas, some certain pockets of the map which create different kind of combat. You've got to take out the stand machine guns because they're extremely powerful and they do a really good job. Obviously, with most people having bolt action rifles, it's an extremely powerful tool to utilize. So it's not just rifle on rifle, you have got other elements. Obviously, you've got artillery that comes in, you've got the mustard gas that comes in as well. I think I'd just prefer there to be a bit more close quarter stuff as opposed to the long range stuff. But I do like the pieces of equipment they've got in the game. You've got the people that can cut the barbed wire, you've got people that can drink from their whiskey flask to reduce the suppression effect. You've got the guy with the trumpet that can give the people around you a bit of a speed boost and other kinds of boosts. You've got the classes that kind of throw the grenades. They're a bit better at taking other spawn points down. And actually, on the mention of spawn points, I do also like the level progression, the putting down spawn points, taking out the enemy spawn points, as well as taking different objectives and things like that. I think that works well. The map seemed to flow pretty well and you're able to progress through nicely. If I'm doing a bit of a nitpick, I probably would also want a bit of an improvement to the audio, just to get that more of an immersive feel, especially when things like artillery is raining down and bullets are flying overhead. But overall, I really can't complain too much. Like I said at the start of the video, I think they've done a really good job with this. These developers seem like a good bunch. They're listening to what the community has to say. I'm sure they're going to continue working with the game. I'm just a bit worried about the longevity of it. I think the tactical side of the game is going to have to really flourish for this game to have a decent amount of longevity, because if it's just a run and gun, it's not got a huge amount of legs. Now, you do have the WW1 community that will be there and just enjoy the authenticity of this kind of game, and the core shooting mechanics of it is fun. I've definitely had fun playing it, so I really hope for this group that this game does do well in a couple of months time, in 6 months time, and things like that. And if they're able to keep on adding in different bits of content, new maps, new weapons and things like that, I'm sure that'll help keeping people engaged with the game. But yeah, overall, very well done. I would personally like to see maybe a couple of changes here and there, but that might be my personal opinion. If you guys have played it and you're enjoying it how it is, let me know down in the comments below. But I think that's where I'll wrap this video up. I'm glad to have played Isonzo. I'm sure I'm going to keep playing it a bit more, see if it can keep my interest at hand. Maybe more explore the officer role and the more tactical side of the game as well. But yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. Well done to the developers. If you like World War I type games, go out there and get it. I would recommend that for sure. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think I'll end it there. And yeah, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like and also think about subscribing. Cheers guys.